live. Oh,
That's just live.
have you turned the music off, Daniel?
Yeah. There we go. Okie dokie.
Okay.
Okay, we are live, right?
Okay, yeah, I think so. Good morning, everyone. Hello.
How many people do we have in the view?
I'm not sure. They might
Take a
need
little
to
while.
refresh it as well, because I think sometimes when it goes live, it takes a little while.
Yeah.
But like, I think YouTube automatically refreshes the page.
Cool.
I'm gonna close down Facebook because I don't want to get a million notifications. And
Yeah,
I get a
good
little
idea.
ping,
I think I'll do the
ping,
same.
ping.
Yeah, good idea. Alright, there, I'm off.
I'm also going to mute my phone because I don't want to get a million notifications.
Airplane mode.
I'm obviously so popular. Really just stupid things like MyFitnessPal saying you haven't logged your breakfast. And I'm like, well, it's because I haven't had any. So tough to log your breakfast when you haven't eaten it.
I had some Cocoa Puffs.
Wow. I've actually got a Belvita breakfast biscuit that I've been looking at for about an hour. I just can't be bothered. I can't be bothered eating it.
Definitely eat that on stream. That'll be.
I just like lean right into the mic and just like crunch it and breathe in and out in the mic. And
yeah, definitely. Well, there's those streamers, isn't there, like social eating? That's like a whole stream.
Yeah, I don't think we've quite. I mean, Mel can maybe do a health and fitness one where it's like social healthy eating.
Yeah, there you go. That's just what the. Do you know what it is, dude? That actually might be a decent idea for like a stream, like a cooking stream or something.
Oh wow, we're setting the bar pretty high, guys. You might have a cooking stream inbound. I'm not going to do it because I can't cook anything other than like scrambled eggs.
I've got. Oh, okay, I can hear you morning. I've got pop-up chat here, like, so in case we do need to talk.
We've got everyone in by the looks of it. We're just sort of chatting about nothing at the minute while we get everything set up.
Okay. Yeah. So
I've got you.
Yeah, I've got pop-up chat, so like that's gonna be like in case I need to check it, but obviously.
I'm keeping an eye on it anyway. So morning everyone. Okay. I am monitoring the chat. If anyone's got any specific issues, let me know. If it's anything to do with the audio and or video, that would be great. Also, Dan, I think the stream starting soon. Screen's still on.
I've just took it off.
Oh, okay, cool.
So there'll be a little delay there, but you're going to see me looking very surprised in about half a
second. There I am. That's my face. And I haven't got my face cam on today because I looked in the mirror and I just thought, you know what? No one deserves to see that on a Monday morning. Like, it's no good.
Yeah. Okay,
I mean, technical issues. Lots of technical issues.
Always. Hopefully the audio is not going to drop out on this one because I know we've had an issue with that in the last couple of streams.
If it does, just shout up in the chat and we will possibly fix it, or we will possibly panic
and then desperately try to fix it whilst
we're just going to a break.
Yes.
No. So for now we're all right. So let's crack on.
Perfect. Okie dokie. All right, guys. So yeah, today in this session we're just gonna do. It's called Exploring Photopea. If you joined the first session, which was Intro to Photopea, then you're gonna have a little bit of a recap because we're gonna be revisiting some of the stuff you did in that, but we're also gonna be looking at some different stuff, like we're going to look at some of the different selection tools and things like that. But first, as a brief tangent, so if you haven't already, I want you to go to photopea.com, and that is there. Can you see that there, or is my banner blocking that?
I think the banner might be blocking it.
Well, okay. I don't think it shouldn't be. That shouldn't be too much of an issue, guys.
I will put the link to that in the chat right now.
Yeah. So we're just going to go on our website.
Photopea.com, isn't it?
Photopea.com. PEA.
PEA as in a P.
As in a P. You know what it is? I watched a tutorial the other day, right? Because I was just like, wanted to know the program a little bit better. And on the tutorial, the guy, I think he was potentially, he was foreign maybe, and he was saying Photopea. And it's obviously not how you say it, but it kept making me laugh every time he said it. He was like, Photopea, and he was like, so I thought that was pretty funny.
Photopea.
Good
boy.
The classic. Yeah, so it's just photopea.com, and like I said, if you haven't used it before, it is very similar to Photoshop. It's a free browser-based software, and generally a lot of the function features are also the same as Photoshop. Okay, So just let me know, make sure everybody's got to this website okay, and then we'll start to get ready to get started.
Yeah. Do we need access to that Google Drive as well?
Yes, that's a good point. So also, if you look at the description of the video, there are some resources. If you did do the last session with Lisa, then you probably already have them. So hopefully you can still relocate them. But if you did lose them somehow, then don't worry, because they're in the description. Just click.
I tell you what, just to be safe, there you go.
Paste that into the chat as well. Yeah, that's perfect. And yeah, just download those. And then we are going to...
So are we on the... Sorry, Daniel. Are we on the starter image assets still, yeah?
Yeah. So if we go... I'm going to open up my downloads. So if you go in here... And then I've got my downloads window. So if you have downloaded these, it will generally just be in your downloads window. And then I'm going to go... Mine's on last week here. It says Intro to Photopea. That's what I called mine. Don't worry if yours is different. It has a different title, or it's different because I named mine that, I think. And then if you just click into that folder... And then once again, and then you should have this. So starter image assets and virtual image assets multi-choice.
So if you just, sorry Daniel,
yep.
if you click on that link that I put in the Google Drive one and just show them what it'll look like when it loads.
Okay, is that in the pop-up chat? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the drive.google.com one.
Yeah.
If you click on that, that'll take you. So what we've done is created a public folder.
Brilliant.
With all this stuff in.
Yeah, so what you do, guys, is you click on this link that here from shared, and it's going to take you to this Intro to Photopea, and then what you're going to do is you are just going to download this, and it's going to open it up. If you click where it says Intro to Photopea there, and you would just move down to download, and then it's going to come in the bottom left, so you just left click on download there.
Yeah. And that's all the resources we'll need, right?
Yeah, and then that's just going to zip that, and it's going to go straight into your download folder. Yeah, and then I know that's going to come up. If I go back into my downloads, and there it is in the top left. If it's a zip file, all you need to do is you just right click on that, and then you press extract all. It's going to come up with something like that. Just left click that, and then it's going to extract the files, and there you go, bang, pops up with the same thing that we just had. And then we get back to there where we have starter image assets and we have virtual image asset multiple choice. So hopefully everybody's got that. If anybody got lost there, that's totally fine, just let me know, and we'll...
Yeah, if anyone's having any trouble downloading it, just let us know.
Yeah.
I might have sounded like I've took off from my mic. I'm just grabbing me I'm looking for my water bottle. 2 seconds.
So yeah, if there is ever any issues or anything like that, just let me know, and we can revisit any steps that you need.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. But yeah, so just have that there for now, guys. That is what we are going to be using. And then next, we're going to go out of Google Drive and back into Photopea. And I'm going to do a little brief tangent here, guys, because I want to talk about something really quickly. I want you guys to go to a website, open another tab. If you don't know how to open another tab, if you're using Google Chrome, it's just the plus at the end of where the bar, if you look at the bars at the top, you should have one bar, which is Photopea, and then if you look to the right, there should be an option for a new tab. It's a little plus sign. You just click on that, and then we're going to type in pixabay.com. That is, I'm going to write that in the chat. It's pixabay.com. Okie dokie, there you go. And we're going to have a little look at this. So I think that maybe Lisa kind of touched on this website in the last session.
I think so, because she was talking about copyright-free images, yeah?
Exactly, yeah. So she was talking about copyright-free images. So this website here is a really good resource for copyright images. So if you could get to this website, and we're just going to have a little look at some of the kind of things that it has available. Because obviously we provided the image assets today. We're using the same ones last time, but if ever you want to do your own kind of project, which we do encourage, then you can kind of just go on this website and have a little look, and you can cater it to your interest, you know what I mean? So we're using our resources today, but if you wanted to do something about something you're particularly interested in, this website would be a good place to find a copyright-free, high-quality image. So I'm going to type in Burano, which is like the rainbow village in Italy near Venice. And then there you go, bang.
That's some good knowledge right there, because I didn't know that. I don't know what he's talking about.
So if you just, it should come up there, guys, if you can see. We've got some pictures of the Rainbow Village, and that is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it?
Right, I see.
I mean, yeah, there you go. So, and you know, I've been here. I took some pictures which look pretty similar to some of these, and
right, you took better ones.
I took better ones. Do you know what it is? I was looking at this yesterday, right? And I thought this one here in the bottom left here, I thought this was actually my picture.
Someone stole it.
Because it looks so much like it. I was thinking, like, this is definitely mine. But
what would you do if you scrolled through and you were just on one of them?
I would be so freaked out.
In the corner.
I would be so freaked out. But yeah, so there you go. And yeah, so if you want to download, if you look in your right hand side here, this is from TPS Dave. And there's free download there, you can see, and you can see where it says Pixabay license. It says free for commercial use, no attribution required. So you guys can download that and you can just use it for a background or whatever you need. So it's pretty cool. And there you go. So I just wanted to kind of briefly show you guys this website because it's a pretty good resource for whatever you want to do. And yeah, it's also, so it's a good, like, and then if we look at this here, we've got this seagull. Is it a seagull? Looks like a seagull. I mean, that's
yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
That's a really good object, you know what I mean? So we often work with backgrounds and objects. Anything that's got a block color background is a really easy and good object, so that would be a great one. We could cut that out and we could put it on something else and it would be fine.
It looks pretty mean, like.
It's got, like, I'm quite fascinated by it. The red on the bottom of its, like, beak. It's pretty cool. But yeah, okie dokie. So when seagull is two separate words.
Yeah. But obviously.
Yeah.
Well, that's over the sea.
the gull of the sea.
Right.
Have you seen the land gull? The land gull. No. The famous land gull. Okay, so
bagel.
Bagel. So if you just go back into Photopea, guys, if you close the Photopea window, don't worry, just go onto photopea.com. We hadn't done anything on it yet, so we haven't lost anything. If not, just open the tab back up, and then we should be back on this window here. Okie dokie. So I'm ready to
quickly before we actually start, you start your demonstration. At the minute, guys, YouTube, because the servers are so overloaded with everyone working from home and being home in quarantine and stuff. Quarantine?
Yeah.
Isolation, lockdown, whatever we're in.
Yep.
We're in something. They've lowered the quality by default of streams and videos. And when I say lowered the quality, they've set your settings to be automatically on, I think it's 360p. So if you hover over the stream and you go to the cog on it, and there'll be a little, like the settings cog, and there'll be an option for quality. If you just bump that up, if you can, to make sure it's on at least 720, if possible, because it probably make it a little bit easier for you guys to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to double check that it's going to let you do that.
Good idea.
So give me a second, because we are on air. I'm going to quickly run the stream. I'm going to mute my mic because I don't want to play the audio back through the stream.
Totally fine, dude. Yeah. So yeah, guys. Also, I was just mentioning to Haytham before that I'm obviously working from one monitor today, so that means that I've got the OBS, which is the streaming software. I've got that open in a different window, but it's all on one monitor. So all I can see is what you guys can see, but I can't see myself. So because the webcam is kind of recording off OBS, which is not open. I've only got Photopea open. So that means that I can't see myself. So if I forget that I'm on camera, I'll start picking my nose or anything like that. Please let me know. Because
hopefully that's all you do.
Because I definitely,
this is a family show, down here.
Because I definitely probably will forget that I'm on stream at some point. So just keep.
It's alright.
Keep
it's
me in
fine.
check.
I can't quite make it out, but is it hat day today?
It's always hat day for me.
Oh
But
man, I should have. I haven't got my hat on.
Tell you what though, every Monday it is hat day, so it must
You have
be
to wear a hat on hat day. That's the rules.
That's the office.
Right.
rule.
Okay. Yeah. So I've checked the quality, and as long as you make it 720, you should be all right.
Fantastic.
If the stream's looking a little bit pixelated,
Right.
it might be because YouTube's lowered the quality. So you press the little cog on the live stream itself,
Yeah.
and then quality, and make sure it's at least 720.
There you go, and it should make
that should be all right.
A little bit better. Right. Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. So I am ready to get going. Let's crack on then. Okay, so guys, you've got this little window here, this box that says new project, open from computer, and demo. So we're going to go to new project, and actually we're not going to click that. We're going to click off that. We're going to go to file in the top left here, and we are going to go to open, which is the second one down, and we're going to press that whenever you guys are ready. So file and open, and then it's going to open a window, and it's opening some of the objects. But what we're going to do is we're going to go straight in downloads here, left click on downloads, and it should open up this window here with a couple of the different things that we've downloaded. And then we're going to go to Intro to Photopea, which we should have just downloaded, or we'll already have it downloaded, and we're going to click on it again. And then we've got these two choices here, starter image assets and virtual image assets, multiple choice. We're going to start off with a more basic project, and then we're going to kind of step it up and look at a kind of more, let's say, nuanced one. So if you go to starter image assets, and we've got a couple of different options here. We've got free backgrounds, free objects, and free textures. We're going to do a background first. I'm going to click the book. Almost started MCing there, and because what I want to do here is I'm going to try and put an object onto the book. It's a really cool kind of thing that you can do. You don't have to do that if you're doing your own one. If you're a little bit more experienced, it's not your first time on the software, you are welcome to pick your own background, but let's keep it to the start ones just for this demonstration. And I'm going to pick the book for this one, I think. So first we're going to pick a background, and let's have a look at that. Yeah, so that's my book. And now next we are going to pick our object. Like I just said, the book is a really cool one because you can do this. It doesn't have to be a book. It could be a piece of paper, or it could be like a bit of card or anything. But these,
or a billboard,
or a billboard. A billboard. That's a really good example. Basically, these kind of backgrounds, I think they're really cool because you can make something look like it is on the background, and you can make it look kind of 2D and like flattened as if it's in the background, which I think is kind of pretty cool. So that's why I think this book is a really cool one. And we're going to go and get the object now. So if we go to file, back into open, and let's have a look. I'm going to pick the cat. As I said, you're welcome to pick your own one, but I think the cat is a good one to start off with, especially if it's your first time using this software, and I will explain why in a second. So we'll just press the cat there, and we're going to go to open, and there he is. There's our little cat. And right, so the reason that this is a particularly easy one, guys, is because the background here is totally white. So that means that it is very easy for us to take this cat from this background. And there are a number of ways using selection tools that we could do that, but it is actually pretty easy to get them off. Generally, as a rule of thumb, the noisier the background is, the harder it is to cut something out of it, because if you're using certain selection tools, it's hard to tell where, well, for a start, it's hard to just isolate the cat. And then secondly, if you're using something like a quick selection, it's hard for that to kind of identify what is the cat and what isn't the cat. So if you've got a background which is completely white or any block color, it's going to be easy to get the object off.
And the shadows as well. Or
exactly, yeah, so, good point as well, the shadows, yeah.
See, underneath the cat's feet, it's got sort of a little range of shadows there.
Right there,
that might be the bit that it struggles with a little bit.
True, exactly.
Which is where you might have to apply a little bit more, let's say, care, attention to detail.
Exactly. Okie dokie. So if I'm looking at my cat here, and if I want to kind of get a bit closer to this image, that I think, okay, I want to kind of zoom in a bit, what you can do is you can press on your keyboard, you can press Control and plus, and it'll zoom in like that. And then if you think that's too much and you want to zoom back out, excuse me, control and minus. So control and plus and control and minus.
And if you zoom in, Daniel, because we figured this out last week between me and Lisa, if you zoom in but you can't really see like the cat anymore because it's gone to the left or the right, there's a little hand on the bottom left. Hand tool. If you click that, and then you can click and drag to move the cat. If you've zoomed in too far to see a particular part of it, you can't see it anymore, you can use that to just like drag around. So you just, with the hand, you just click and drag.
Yes.
And you can reposition the photo.
Right, brilliant, guys. So yeah, that's a really good tip there. If you guys didn't catch that there, it's just in the bottom left here where I've got my cursor hovering over, and it's the hand tool, and that is great. Yeah, so cheers, Haytham. That is a really, really good tip. So yeah, if you zoom in and you think, okay, like I'm zoomed in, but I can't really see the cat, I can just drag them with my hand tool, and there we go. That's nice and easy. We're going to go back to our move tool just for now, and we're going to zoom out one. And what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to use a quick selection tool first to kind of select this cat. And let's have a little look. Okay, so if we go onto our kind of tools here, we've got object selection. Now we're not going to use that one. So the fourth one down, guys, where it says object selection, if you just right click on that for me.
It might also say it might have a different tool selected.
Yeah, it might say magic wand, and it may say quick selection. It might not say quick. It depends on your computer, I guess. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on the second one, which is quick selection. Okay.
So yeah, we're going to the fourth button down on the toolbar. Yeah.
Yeah, fourth button down on the toolbar, and see it's analyzing the image there because it's trying to pick out the object from the background. So once again there, guys, fourth one down, right click, and then the middle one, quick selection, left click. And guys, just as a reminder, whenever I say click on something, just always assume it's left click unless I specify otherwise. Because if I specify otherwise, then it would be right click. So I'll always say right click on something if we need to right click. Otherwise, it will always be left click. So we're going to look at this here. It says 15 on the size. If you look in your top left underneath edit, there's a little circle with number. It might not be number 15 for you, but it'll have the size there. And I am going to try around, let's say maybe 30. Yeah, we're going to try 30 for the cat, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, and once you've done that, I'm just going to kind of start on his ear. And I'm just going to kind of click. So that has selected the whole image there. So we're just going to go back. So to take a step back, all you need to do is you press Control and Z. Or you could go to Edit and Undo/Redo. So maybe that was a little bit too big because got everything. So we're going to go back to 15. Okay. And let's select from where his ear is. There you go, and bang. So it selected the full cat. So I had 15, and we've got a little bit extra here, but we're going to get rid of that. That might just be his shadow. It is mainly his shadow, but we're going to have a little bit of white in there. So I don't want that, so we're going to get rid of that in a sec. But as you can see, I used 15 with a quick selection. I, literally tapped on his head once, and it selected pretty much all of the image. It's not going to do that every time. But as I said, with the background being so white, we are quite fortunate there. However, as I said, this bit at the bottom here, we don't want that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller here. I'm going to make it about 5 or 6. And you can see next to the plus sign, there's a subtract. So if you see where the 6 is, if you go along, you got mode, and then you got plus and minus. We're going to press the subtract, and we are going to try and get rid of that little bit of white here. We'll see how this goes, and I'm just going to move my quick selection onto there, and I'm going to left click, and there you go. It gets rid of it straight away. Perfect. So if we press Control and minus to zoom back out, and now we have a pretty good selection of our cat. So what we're going to do, guys, is we go top left up to our move tool, and there you go, bang. We're going to just slightly move the cat from the background, and as you can see, there you go. We've taken the cat out of the background, and it looks pretty good, to be fair. Right, so generally, if you've done any of the Photoshop sessions with us before, or you have previous skills in Photoshop, what you would usually do at this point is you would left click and drag the cat all the way to background, background free book, PSD. As you see, we've got these two tabs, I guess you could say, at the top. And generally in Photoshop, you would toggle between these two. We actually can't drag this in on Photopea. That is one of the limitations of Photopea. I'm not sure why that is, but you can't actually drag stuff in like that. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to Edit on the top panel there. Next to File, you're going to go to Edit, and we're going to move down to Copy. And then you're going to click on Copy, guys, and that should kind of copy the cat there.
So if you see on there as well, what Photopea does, like Photoshop, when you've gone to edit, also giving you the keyboard shortcuts on the right hand side as well.
That is a very good point. Yeah.
Some of them, because it's in a web browser, is different to what you'll have seen in Photoshop before.
Yeah. So
by and large, the likes of Control Z is a step backwards.
Yeah.
Control X is cut, Control C is copy, Control V is paste. So a lot of them are the same, but some of them are slightly different. So it's worth going into the menu of like edit and just double checking before you press it, because it might do something like open a new tab in Google Chrome and you don't really want to do that.
Exactly right. Good point. Okay, so what we're going to do for this one is we are going to go down to copy. Once you press copy, you're going to click back to our background. So we've got object 1 cat, and then to the left you should still have your book. We didn't delete that at any point. If you don't have that, guys, if you for some reason you maybe deleted it because you thought you didn't need it, I'm sure you didn't do that, but just in case you did, to get it back you would just go to File, Open, and you would just find the book again. But I'm sure that didn't happen. Okay, so once we're back at the background, we go back to Edit, next to File, and then we go all the way down to Paste. And once again, as Haytham touched on there, which is a good point, you've got your shortcuts here. So if you ever want to kind of speed up this process a little bit, you could press Control and C to copy and Control and V to paste, and that is obviously that speeds it up obviously quite a bit. And you could go down to paste and then left click, and then bang, there's our cat, and he is looking pretty cute, but also pretty big. So what we're gonna do with our little kitty here, guys, is we are going to do a transform on it. We're going to resize the image. So as Haytham said, generally in Photoshop you would press Control and T. Don't do that because it will open another tab. What we are going to do is we are going to go to Edit and down to Free Transform. So the first time I show you this, guys, we're going to go through each step, but we're going to take a note of the shortcut, and then afterwards hopefully you can practice the shortcuts and we can kind of master those. So we would go to Free Transform here, and we know that instead of Control and T, like in Photoshop, it is Alt, Control and T, and then it is going to get it up. So if we press that, Free Transform in File, and it should come up with this little window of our kitty here, which is great. And we're just going to drag him a little bit here. So guys, with our cat, what I want to tell you about this transform is whenever you're kind of resizing an image, you should always, unless you're intentionally distorting something, I would be wary of dragging anything from the sides, because you're going to make him become either really skinny or really fat. So that doesn't look good. And I would do it from I would not do it from the top either, because you're going to make him either really short and stumpy, or you're going to make him really tall and slim. So you're going to kind of distort your image depending on where you drag it. So what you should generally do is go into the corner, and you can see this. Oh my god, there's a little machine gun through the mic there.
I've just been shot at, I think. Sorry, I was just adjusting my mic because I'm in school again.
It's okay, man. It was like obviously I got the headphones on, so it was like just like a machine gun just came through the mic, like the headphones.
Okay, just a quick one. If you finish this step, and then if you can go back and do a quick little overview again of the quick selection tool, just to make sure everyone got it. So if you finish scaling it and then confirm it.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. You are coming through a little bit quiet here, from just to let you know, but I don't know if that's through the stream as well.
Yeah, possibly. I think I was coming through a bit too loud, so I'll...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're a bit quiet for me, that's okay, as long as it's okay in the stream, but...
I'll leave it at that for now.
Sure. Okie dokie. I tell you what, I can actually, if I put my ears out of my hat, might look a bit silly, but might be a little bit easier as well. Okie dokie. Right, yes, so guys, we will look back at the quick selection tool. We can definitely do that. But yes, so we're on to transform for now. And guys, yeah, so if you have your options here, and we've got these kind of windows. Whenever that curved arrow comes, guys, that is rotate. So if you ever want to rotate something, you would just left click, and then you can kind of turn it like up or down, left or right. But let's kind of keep it here for now. And let's see, okay, yeah, so you get this pointed arrow, this kind of diagonal arrow. That is kind of what you want when you're resizing it generally as a rule of thumb. And you're going to left click, but what you're going to do, it's a little bit tricky, this command, but I want you to hold shift as well when you're resizing it, because when you do this, it keeps it the same, so it's not stretching anything. So if you're holding shift, then it's keeping the image the same. So let's go, we're going to hold, and generally it is probably a little bit easy if you do have a mouse, because if you're using your trackpad and you're holding shift, I know it can get a bit tricky. I don't have a mouse, so it is a little bit tricky, but it's still doable if you've got stretchy fingers like I do. So let's see, so we're going to just kind of drag this down a bit, and we are going to get our cat about here. I'm happy with that. If you're working on this yourself, that's you can make it as big or as small as you want. And I'm going to put him on this page on the right hand side here, and I think that looks nice. We're going to make sure that we can blend him into the image, so we're going to work on that in a second, but let's just work on his positioning for now. So I'm happy with about there. And guys, just a final tip before we take our transform off. When you are moving something in the transform area, I would be very careful about this little dot in the middle there, because that is like your anchor point. So whenever you're grabbing something, make sure you grab it outside of that, because if you move that and then you've got your anchor point somewhere completely different to where your image is, that can cause some problems for you down the line. So make sure you've got that nice in the center, unless you have a purpose for moving it, but generally I would make sure that that is in the center of your image. Okay, and then I'm just going to tick off this now. So we've got our cat, he's nice, he's in the book, and we're just going to revisit that quick selection tool for now, guys. We're going to have another look at that. Are you still there, here from Bird?
Yeah, I'm in a huff now.
What's up?
I'm being too loud. It's like when you're in school and it's like you're being too loud. I'm behaving myself.
All good, man. Okie dokie. Right. So all right. So guys, I want to kind of quickly show you what I just did there, just so you can kind of see what's happening. I went back into where my cat is. Okay. And where the object is, and I went straight back to our cat there. What you do, guys, is you've got your options all across the top here. If you want to deselect this, which is what I want to do, because I want to kind of do the demonstration again, you would just go to the very top, you would look for select, and this is also just generally a good tip for a multitude of reasons. You know, whenever you're doing a selection, it's good to have this here, because you may make a mistake and you may need to deselect. So go to select, and then the second one down, deselect, and you can see, as we were talking about the shortcuts earlier, the shortcut for this one is Control and D. So we're just going to click on deselect for now.
Just be careful where it is, because if you deselect it when it's not in its original position, it's going to leave it sort of hovering with that transparent background behind it.
Yes. It's a good point.
If that happens, to be fair, you see the history on the right hand side. Yeah,
good point.
Where it says open, or back before you did that step, so you can get it back.
That's a really good point, because so guys, this little box on the right hand side here is your history box, right? And this is very, very useful, because we mentioned undo before, which was Control and Z, or you could go to edit and undo, but sometimes when you're doing a selection, it doesn't do that, or it won't go to the exact step that you want. So you have the deselect, as we mentioned, or you also have your history tool, and this can be a lifesaver sometimes, because especially if you're kind of doing like you make a lot of mistakes, say you start like brushing something and then like you've done like 100 kind of commands, and then you think, oh no, like I really don't like what I've done, then you usually have your history box here, and you can kind of go back from each step. So you can see here we've got from when we open the image to the quick selection to the move and to the deselect. So always remember you've got your history box here. In Photoshop it might look a little bit different. Usually it'll be like 3 cubes, I think, on this part here, but here it's just kind of there. Okay guys, so we are going to quickly revisit the quick selection. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the 4th one down again to where quick selection is. We're going to right click on that, and we are just going to click on the 2nd one there, which is quick selection, and you can see we've got our cat here. He is looking nice, and obviously when I did it the first time I made the size too big. So if you look at the top here, I put the size to 30 the first time. It was a little bit too big. It selected the whole image, so we're going to go back to 15. And then now I've got that, so I've got 15, I've got my quick selection selected. I am literally just going to select the cat's head here, or maybe his ear I think I selected. So let's see. So, yeah. And once again there, it's selected the whole image. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to go back, Control and Z, and I'm going to pick maybe in the middle of the cat, and it's picked the whole image again. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make that a little bit smaller. Alright, and let's see. So I think because we've already cut him out, so it's making it a little bit tougher to kind of get him from the background now. So let's see. If this happens again, I'm just going to kind of close it and then open the cat up again, and then we're going to do it that way. So let's see, we'll try one more time. And we'll go down to our 4th one there, and alright, let's pick in the middle of the cat this time, so hopefully I'll pick him out. Yeah, we've got the cat, but then we've also got the cutout of the cat. So what we're going to do, so all I did there guys is I moved it down to 10, and then I clicked in the middle of the cat. I think it should be able to kind of tell the difference between the left part here, which is the cutout, and the right part, which is the cat, but if it doesn't, we'll find a way around that. So I'm going to press our minus. So if you remember guys, last time we had a little bit extra here. We had the shadow, which we got rid of. So we're going to try and get rid of this little bit of this blank selection here. So we're just going to go to that minus, and I am going to bring my size down to like 5 again, 6, and then I'm just going to press that blank selection and see if it gets rid of it. And there we go, it's starting to kind of get rid of it. Maybe make it a bit bigger, make it about 10.
Charlotte's just made a very good point as well.
Yeah.
She said you only get up to 30 steps back on Photopea.
It's true.
So go easy with your clicks, especially with things like the quick selection, because every time you click the mouse separately, puts another step on that history panel. So
I'm going to click off this object here because it's proven to be a little bit difficult just because of the way that it's kind of positioned itself. You know, it's the cat, it's like the object is a little bit attached to the blank selection. So I'm just going to, instead of kind of picking certain parts of it for the quick selection, I'm just going to click X on this object, and it says, do you really want to close it? And I'm going to press OK because it's already in the other image, so that's fine. We've already got it there. And I'm just going to go to...
You just want to do it on your object, yeah.
Yeah,
so and make sure you don't do that on your background, because
yes,
that's the image that you've made some progress with.
Yeah,
so if it's an object, I need to close it and reopen it.
Exactly. So yeah, we're just going to go to File and Open there, guys. And Object 1, get the cat back. I'm going to kind of whiz through this because I don't want to spend too much time on the quick selection, guys. So we're just going to quickly recap that. You're going to go down to your 4th one down there. And... you're going to left click on quick selection. We've got it at 10. I'm going to select the middle of the cat. I'm going to select round here, his ear. And let's see. There you go. And I clicked the first time I clicked, it just selected inside of his ear. So I moved slightly along to the right, and then I selected his head. And then now we have the full cat, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up to Edit, and then we're going to go back down to Copy. And then we're going to go back into the background, and then we are going to right click, Edit, and we're going to click Paste, and we've got 2 cats now. I want to get rid of this one, guys. You can work with as many layers as you want. We're going to look at that a little bit after our first task that we're going to do here. I'll show you some duplicate layers, but for now we're just going to delete this one. So if you look on your right hand side here, we've got all of the different layers. We've got the background layer, we have layer 1, and then we have layer 2 as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to name these in a second, but we're going to right click on layer 2, and an option comes up here to delete. Once you right click on layer 2, we're just going to left click on delete there, bang, and we can say bye-bye to a cat.
Only do that if obviously you've got 2 cats in there.
Exactly.
Don't delete your layer 1. You want to leave that in there.
Brilliant point. Yeah. So if you've got 2 cats, then you can do that. But if you've only got the 1 cat, then don't delete your only cat. If you did do that, don't worry, because your selections should still be there, and you should still be able to just drag it straight across, or it should already be on your clipboard. So if you just go to edit and paste, you should still be able to get that one back. But hopefully you didn't delete your own cat. I'm going to double click where it says layer 1 there, and when you double click on that, you can just delete layer 1 out of there, and I'm going to call him Cat, which is a really creative name. So we're just going to call him Cat there, and then we've got background in Cat. I'm going to make him a little bit smaller, guys, because I think he's still a little bit too big. So if you press Alt, Control, and T, if you couldn't find that, you go to Edit and down to Free Transform, and there you go. And I'm going to hold Shift, because I don't want him to be out, because you see we've got the pages here on the side, right? I don't want him to be kind of spilling over the pages. So we're going to press Shift, and we're going to drag him slowly down, and there you go. And now we are going to do a tick on that, and that looks lovely. Guys, he looks good. He's in the book, but he does not look like he is kind of blended into the book. So how would we do that, guys? If you joined Lisa's session, then you probably know. What we are going to do is we're going to look at the first layer here, the second layer, which is Cat, which isn't the background layer. And then above that, you can see normal. That is where your blend modes are. So what we are going to do is we are just going to kind of cycle through these and see which one kind of suits best. We'll see which one kind of blends into the image the best. So where it says normal, I want you to click that drop down window, and we're just going to try a couple of these ones. We're going to see which one looks best for our cat to be kind of blended into the background. So if we go to dissolve, it doesn't really do anything, and darken, that looks pretty cool. I quite like this one because it kind of looks like the cat's kind of submerged in the book and it's like coming out of it, but it doesn't really look like it's part of the book. So if I was going for something else on this one, I would maybe pick that, because I think it looks quite cool, but it doesn't. It looks kind of like it's been drawn into it and like someone hasn't finished the drawing, but that's not the one that I really want. So we're going to kind of look through some more options. Multiply, that one looks really good. Maybe would go with that one. So that one, we're going to kind of bank that. Generally, when you're doing blend modes like this, guys, just have a look through and see which one you think looks the best, see which one you're kind of happy with, and that's kind of a good rule of thumb, is just to kind of look through and experiment.
And if you're looking for it to sort of blend into something, the idea is the book itself has some texture on it, as in the paper has a bit of texture.
Yeah.
You want the cat to get some of that texture, so it looks like it's imprinted on that book, or like Daniel's has been sketched in, sort of thing.
Exactly right. Let's try.
Daniel's going to call it a book, and I'm going to call it a book, so it's going to get a little bit confusing probably. This thing with the pages in it, that's what we need.
So I'm going to try overlay here, guys. Overlay, it looks okay. It looks kind of a bit weird, like it's a watermark or something. Hard mix, that one looks terrible. That one looks like a demon.
One that makes it look like a demon. Difference, if you go to difference, it looks like a demon.
Let's have a look at that.
If you want to make
oh my goodness, hold on.
That's the way to do it, like
demon. Let's see difference. Oh my goodness. Look at that, guys.
Got a cat right there.
Whoa, that is a devil cat. You're not wrong there. Okay, look at its eyes, man.
Try not to. I've turned it off.
Right, so let's do multiply. I think multiply is pretty much as good as it gets. Okay, guys, so another little quick tip here. Generally, when you kind of want something to kind of blend into the texture, as Hiffen was saying, we wanted to kind of have some of that texture. So a blend mode is a good way to do that. But how else can we do that? Another way is we can reduce the opacity so it looks a little bit more transparent, so it looks like it's part of the book. So if you go to your right next to where it says multiply, if you picked multiply or whatever blend mode you picked, and it says opacity 100%, we're going to press that drop down arrow, and we're just going to reduce that to like, let's say 80 or 70 maybe. I tell you what, maybe even a little bit more than that. I'm going to go down to 70, 69, 70, there we go. 70, there we go. All right, brilliant. And as you can see, now that we've put it down to 70, it looks like it is part of the book. It's brought out some of the texture of the book, and it's kind of put it into the cat, and it does look like it's part of the book now, which is pretty cool. And once again, if you've got your move tool selected on your top left here, you can kind of just move that around, and you can kind of, you know, reposition it in any way that you want, given that it's deselected now. So, and I think that looks really good, guys. It looks like it is part of the book, so I am very happy with that. Next step, guys, we are going to put a texture in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Open, and let's see, we're going to pick, I'm going to pick Abstract Wall here, guys, because generally whenever you pick a texture, I mean, when you do an image assets like this, you can kind of go two ways with it. I think usually you can kind of either have it so you've got you've got like super realistic, you know, you're kind of trying to blend everything in so it seems quite real, like as if it could be actually there, or you can do something totally surreal, like you can have it like look kind of crazy. So it's up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to kind of try and make mine a little bit realistic, obviously, as much as we can at least. So yeah, I'm going to pick Abstract Wall here, Texture 2, and then I'm going to go to Open. Okie dokie. Right, and then we have this big kind of wall with all these kind of scratches in. What we are going to do now is we are going to select all here. Okay, so we're going to go to where select is in the top there. If you remember, you can see that there. Select, and then we're just going to press that. And then the first one is select all. Once again, we were talking about shortcuts. You've got Control and A, which is select all. All right, and once you've done that, as we would usually do in Photoshop, we would just drag it up, but we can't do that here. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to go to Copy, all the way down to Copy here. And let's see, so we've copied it, and we're going to go back to our background here. And once we're in our background, if I'm ever going too fast, by the way, guys, just let me know, and we can always revisit any steps that we need to. So we're going to go to Edit, and then we are going to go to Paste, and bang. So at the moment you might be looking at that and thinking that looks pretty crazy. That is totally fine, because we're going to fix it. Now we're going to go back up to Edit there, and we're going to go to Free Transform. Obviously, guys, I know that I mentioned to you earlier that you should not generally stretch from the top or the side. You should pick from the diagonal. That is true, but because this is a texture and it's going to be so blended into our image, I am going to take the liberty of just stretching that out. So I'm going to go against that.
Yeah, so you want to be holding shift and from a corner on your object, as in your thing that you're putting in there. But when it's a texture, because it's a pattern that we're going to blend in with the rest of the image, that you can take a little bit more sort of free rein when you're transforming it, because you're not going to, it's not going to, like if it was with the cat, it was going to squash it and make him look too thin or too sort of stuffy.
Exactly right.
A better word. So yeah,
you've got a thing as well called like rasterization with this as well. So it's like when you're stretching it, it's unrasterized, so before you tick it, it might look a bit blurry and you might be thinking that looks terrible, but it's because it's not rasterized. As soon as you press that tick, it'll go back to normal and it'll look fine. So just bear that in mind too. And then we are going to click on our confirm here. All right, brilliant. And obviously, once again, you might be thinking like, what is going on here? But we're going to sort that out. Don't worry about it. So on the top layer there where it says layer 1, just going to rename that as texture. And there you go. You don't need to do that, but
remind us how to rename them, Daniel.
Yeah, so to rename it, you would go to the bottom right, you would go to the layers box here, and you've got 3 different layers. Wherever the text is, you would just kind of double click on that. you double click on the text and it will give you the option to it'll come up with like a blue little box, like just as if you'd rename in a file, and then you've got texture there and you can kind of rename.
You need to have your cursor sort of right over the text.
That's the one. Yeah, you put your cursor.
It'll bring up a different box. So you need the little pointer needs to be right on where it says layer.
That's the one. Exactly right. It has to be precise. And then you can get it in there. And then when you want to kind of confirm the action, you just press enter and it'll do that for you. So there you go, guys. We've got background, cat, and texture. And now we're just going to blend this in. So same process that we just went through. We're kind of going to look through these, and I am going to try some of the different ones, see what works best. I'm kind of guessing that overlay might be the best one, but we haven't tried that yet, so let's have a look. Oh my goodness. So that was darken. Looks pretty crazy. Color burn. And I'm going to put the opacity right down on this because I don't want this effect to be too prominent. So we've got linear burn. It looks like something out of like Resident Evil at the moment. And then lighter color. Overlay. Yeah, so overlay was the one that I thought might look the best. Because overlay, you know, it does what it says. It like overlays over the image, so it looks pretty cool. If I had a lot more time on this, I might have made a selection around the book, and then I might have cut the book out separately so that this texture is only on the background. However, that might take a while and it could kind of be a little bit of a task for our first project, so we're not going to do that now, but just for kind of future reference of some of the things that you can do. But yeah, these
textures can be really good, even if you haven't added an object or something. You took a photo, say on your phone, I don't know, of like the time bridge.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not the time bridge. I don't know. You've gone in the garden.
Yeah.
I know Lisa loves going in the garden and taking pictures and that. So she's took a picture of like our plant, and she wants to just apply a nice texture over the top to give the colours a little bit of like a different, really effective way of editing an image is just adding a texture over the top of a picture.
Exactly right.
Make it look really nice.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, and it can kind of give your image that much of depth. And also, like, just to go off what Haytham said as well, you know, you take. I mean, that's all that. It's kind of what Instagram is. I mean, that's filters, but you know, a filter and a texture, they can be quite similar. For example, if you have taken an image of something, you want to get that kind of look. You want it to look like it's shot on a film camera, but it's shot digital. If you put a texture which has this kind of noise, like similar to what we've got here, it's going to make it look like it was shot on a film camera. So these are the kind of things that you can do. Also, if you look, this is a minor tangent, so bear with me. There's an effect called bokeh. If we go to file and open, this is a brief tangent, guys, so I apologize. And if you look at texture free here, the abstract one, that is what I'm talking about. And it basically, whenever you kind of making something out of focus on a camera and you have a lot of lights, you start to get these like small cubes. And this is not part of the tutorial, guys, this is just me kind of talking about something. And so I'm just going to open this up, and that is what I mean there. So whenever you make something out of focus, like around lights particularly, you get this effect called bokeh, and it's when the like out of focus kind of lights start to become these really nice circles, and it's an effect that's used a lot in film and photography, and it can look really nice. But if you can't actually achieve that effect with what you're shooting, like you're taking a picture of something, you could literally just get a bokeh background like this, and you could just blend it into your image, you know, and using a texture and then layer it over the top, and then using blend modes like we just did, and you're going to come away with a really nice effect that's going to look like you shot that bokeh. So yeah, brief tangent over there, guys. Just wanted to kind of talk about that.
That's our trick to, so we look like we know what we're doing.
Exactly right.
That's how you do it.
Exactly. That's the secret. So yeah, we're just going to click X on that. We don't need to do anything with that. It was just a little tangent. Okay, guys, so yeah, once again, this is a little bit too gritty for me, so I'm going to go back into where we are now in our background free book, and I'm just going to kind of put the opacity down of the texture. So make sure you are clicked on the texture, that you have clicked on the texture, because you want to make sure it's that layer, and then we're going to go and just reduce that opacity to, like, I would say 40 maybe. And then so it's still giving you a bit of depth. It's making it look kind of, you know, like old style, but it's not overbearing. And we've still got 3 layers here: cat, texture, background. And what I'm going to do, guys, is whenever you click on a layer, obviously that means that you've got that layer selected. What I'm going to do now is I am going to move this layer up. So I'm going to move cat to the first layer. So cat is on top. And as you can see, if I move it back down, so if cat's in the middle layer and the texture's on top, then the texture is affecting the cat as well. So the cat's having the texture on it, and it's kind of making the cat look a bit too gritty for my liking. So what you can do there is you can just drag the cat right onto the top, and then the cat is still clear. So that means that the texture is only affecting the background layer because it is in the middle, and it's not affecting the cat because the cat is on top. So that's something that you should always bear in mind, is the order of your layers, what you kind of want to affect. And with these 3 layers here, you can see that the cat's on top, so he's not being affected by the texture. Alright guys, finishing touches on this piece, and then we are going to move on to another one. We're going to look at a slightly more complex image asset after that. So just to do the finishing touches on this one, we're going to go to our text tool in the bottom left there, and we're going to press type. So it's just the T there, guys, and the shortcut for that is literally just T as well, so that's pretty handy. Just another little quick tip there: whenever you hover over something, it'll generally have the shortcut for that next to it. The thing that it's in brackets, that is the shortcut on the keyboard, generally speaking. So T for text. Alright, and then I'm just going to draw a little text box here. So I would hold left click and drag. I don't have a mouse, guys, so if you do have a mouse, it's probably much easier for you. Brilliant, there you go. And I'm just going to left click there. Alright, and let's see, we've got 24 px for the size. That is obviously very, very small, so I am going to put that to about... Here's a little another tip for you guys. If you press the drop down arrow, it's size. If you look in your top here, you've got the font, which is Deja Vu Sans. You've got book, which is kind of like, if it's, I think that's yeah, it's kind of bold, condensed. It's how you want it to, it's the variation of that font basically. And then on the right hand side, you've got your size, then you've got your color, and then beyond that you've got your alignment as well. If you were going to do like a few lines or something, the alignment is something that you would have to take with takes a much more consideration. But if you're just using one word, I wouldn't worry about it too much, because you can move it with your move tool as well. All right, guys. So for size, I'm going to put that
the hashtag on me to these ones.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. So yes, here's something that I found when I've looked at this software. You can pick whichever font you want, guys. So if you click where it says Deja Vu Sans there, I'll tell you what, I'm going to write it in first, and then we're going to change the font after. So I'm just going to use Deja Vu Sans for now. I'm going to go down to where it says size. I'm just going to kind of drag that up to about 115. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think that's all right. Right, and then guys, we're going to put in hashtag, capital W, we, capital A, R, capital M, media, and capital S, savvy. All right, guys, and then I'm going to just move this into the center about there, and it'll snap for you as well, guys. So if when you're moving it, it naturally snaps for you, so kind of let it guide you a bit as well. And then I think that's kind of more or less bang in the center. I quite like that. Obviously that text is a little bit basic, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to T, and then I'm going to click on that, and I am going to, I'm going to kind of show you if you wanted to change the font. So if you go back up to where it says Deja Vu Sans, so make sure you highlight your text, guys. So by doing that, you just left click and drag, and then it should highlight it. And then where it says Deja Vu Sans, you can kind of go down and you can pick some of the different ones. However, some of these fonts don't have the hashtag in, so bear that in mind. You've got you've got like Hangul, which is like Korean, and some crazy stuff here. But yeah, make sure that you pick one which has, see, for me that one there would be perfect, because it's like with that old English kind of feel. So let's try that. But I'm really dubious that like I think I'm doubtful that has. See, that doesn't have the hashtag, so that's really cool, but it doesn't have the hashtag for our thing. So if I was doing this otherwise, I would maybe select this one. It's not going to look like that, by the way. Yeah, and see, that looks really cool. It has that kind of old style feel. But once again, considering that we want to have that hashtag on, then it's not perfect. So I'm going to select the text again. Just double clicked it there and it highlights the text again. I'm going to pick a basic one for now. But for you guys, feel free to pick whichever font you like the best. Let's see. All right. I could honestly spend a long time looking at this. Let's pick communist. Okay. All right. And even that one doesn't have a hashtag, so that's like, guys, if at the end of the day, if you really set on a font and it doesn't have the hashtag, I'm sure that's okay, as long as you put "We Are Media Savvy," and then whenever you kind of share this image on social media, if you're sharing it on Facebook, you're sharing it on Twitter, make sure you just put the hashtag in then. So just put hashtag "We Are Media Savvy," and as long as it has "We Are Media Savvy."
Put it in the chat as well for them, if someone wants to copy and paste it.
Perfect. Yeah, brilliant.
I had a couple of questions just about if you can do anything like that on a mobile. You know, you mentioned about the photos and adding the texture to it.
Yeah.
About if we can do it on a mobile or any kind of app.
Yeah.
What I'd say with that is we're looking to see what we can do. Basically,
so
on more mobile devices. So we'll probably have a stream on something like that at some point.
Yeah.
We're just working out the logistics of it in terms of what app's the best.
Cool.
Primarily, we use Photoshop and obviously
Yeah.
photo. So we'll look for some mobile alternatives as well, for like quick edits and stuff. A lot of your phones will have them built in. You know, you can edit a photo now in your camera roll, but there might be an app out there that's a little bit better. So we'll have a little look at it and see what we can come up with between us.
Yeah. So yeah, as Hifam said, that's a whole nother thing. But you know, you can get the Photoshop app on your phone. There is some limitations to it, but it is some of it is free. There is a Photoshop app there. There's also a Lightroom app, which some of it is free, and Lightroom is basically like the photo editor of Photoshop, so of Adobe. So there's Lightroom and Photoshop. You can download those mobile apps. But yeah, they are slightly different to using it on a desktop or a laptop or something like that. That you can actually also use Photopea on your mobile. I have not tried it myself, so I'm not sure how different it is, how much more difficult it is going to be. But there is like a mobile version of Photopea. So if you go to photopea.com on your phone, you can still use it. But once again, like I said, I'm not sure how difficult it would be, so I would have to kind of look into that. But there you go. You've got Photopea on your mobile, Photoshop and Lightroom as well if you wanted to kind of have a look. But I'm sure we're going to kind of explore that a bit more ourselves and see what we can offer with that.
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
Yeah, so we are media savvy. I'm going to go back to text. I'm kind of spent a little bit more time than I wanted on this, so just going to wrap up this part of the project, and then we're going to move on to the next bit. So where the black is there, guys, if you look at the very top, and you've got your black there, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on that, and I am going to use some, I'm going to try and use the media savvy pink. I'm not sure if Lisa just did the media savvy pink on the fly, or she but
we've got the code.
I've got the code for it, so I don't know if that was like the official one or if it was just like we were just
no, she had it written down. 2 seconds.
So I've got it here, dude. So
cool.
Yeah, so there we go. It is ED. Okay, hold on. So it is hashtag. I don't know, is this actually going to work? I hope so. So let's see if that actually works. So it is ED238A. I haven't actually tried that, so I'm not sure if this is going to work or if it's not. But we would just press OK, and fingers crossed that works. Oh yes, it does. So right, brilliant, perfect, guys. So what you're going to do is where it says hex here, if you guys are following, you're going to press hashtag, and you're going to type in ED, all lowercase, ED238, and then A, and then you're just going to click any kind of blank space in that window, and it should pop up like that, and that is the Media Savvy pink. So hopefully you can get that, guys, and then I'm going to press OK on that, and then beautiful, guys. and I'm going to press the move, and sweet, there we go. That is the first one done, guys. So we've got our little cat, he's blended into the book, and then we have our We Are Media Savvy on the bottom. Okay, so we're going to do the final steps, which is we are going to go to File, and then we are going to go to Save as PSD. So that is an editable file, so if you wanted to work on it again, you can do. And if you are wanting to work on it in Photoshop even, you can do, because Photoshop is PSD is a Photoshop file. So we're going to go to Save as PSD, and we're going to, and then it'll kind of save it there. You can go to Show in Folder, and there you go, background free book, it is there. And we can click off that, and you can go to File and Export As, and then we are going to do a JPEG. Let's do a JPEG for this one. JPEG, universal file format. Any computer you put it on, you can use that. So we'll go to Export As. So this is going to save the image file. So saving the PSD is like a working kind of file that you can put into any image editor and use, and a JPEG or PNG is an image file. So that's just a flat image file of the image. So we go to Export As JPEG, and there you go, guys. And we're just going to press Save, and brilliant. And then we can just click on that guy there. That'll also be in your downloads as well, guys. And well, there you go. So we've got that, and it should just be the last thing in your downloads. Perfect.
So Daniel,
yep.
If anyone's got any work that they want to share with us, if they can send it to us via any means, put it on Twitter, include the hashtag. If you want to email us, if you email them to me, or actually email them to you, Daniel, probably.
Yeah. So guys, if you want to email me,
like a little feature.
Perfect. I don't know if you want to put it in the chat, my email here.
Will do, yeah, we'll do.
So yeah, you can email me, guys. It's just daniel@mediasavvycic.co.uk, and I will feature any of your posts. Please do it, guys, because I think that we're gonna have some amazing work, and it's great to be able to highlight that. You know what I'm saying? So it really helps if you can kind of share the work if you've done it, guys. And it's awesome as well to kind of see how far you've came. So anyway, so that is that done. We've saved it, and we have exported it as a JPEG. Make sure you've done that, because we're going to get rid of it now. So we're going to get rid of object 1 here. We're going to press that. Are you sure you want to get rid of it because it's unsaved? Yes, because it's just an object. And same again for this. I'm sure I want to get rid of it because it is just an object, and we don't need it anymore. And then finally, we're going to get rid of this as well. So we're going to press X on that, and then bang, back to where we started there. So that's one down, guys, and now we are going to do another one. We're going to work on some slightly more difficult kind of image assets and slightly kind of more complex things, but we're going to get into that, and we'll go step by step. So we go to File and Open. Okie dokie. Right, and guys, we're going to go out of this. So if you look at your top, so if the last thing you open is this, it should have these kind of objects here. What you would do is at the top where it says Start Image Assets, you would just click back to Intro to Photopea. So you would just click that top part there, and then it should come up Start Image Assets and Virtual Image Assets, multiple choice. Excuse me. We're going to click on the second one, and then it's going to come up with Backgrounds, Objects, and Textures. Double click on Backgrounds, and let's see. Right, so now we've got a very choice here of different backgrounds, and as you can see, they're a little bit more complex, which is great. So, and some of these are really nice. Like I said, guys, if you've done this before, you're welcome to pick any one that you want, and you can kind of make your project completely your own. If it's the first time you're doing it, you can totally follow along with me and do the same things that I'm doing step by step. That's fine too. So we're going to go to Spring. This is the one that I'm going to pick for this, and we're going to just click Open. And there we go. So we've got our nice kind of spring day. Okay. And okie dokie. And then we are going to go to File and Open, and once again, where it says Backgrounds there, guys, we're just going to click slightly out of that, and we're going to go to Virtual Assets, multiple choice, and we're going to press our object now, guys. So if you go down to the second one, double click on Object, and there you go. There's a few different ones here, and let's have a little look. We're going to pick something a bit more difficult now. So we're going to press this one here that is animals or animal. Double click on that. It's a tiger basically, guys, and we're just going to put that in, and there we go. There he is. Absolute beauty. Okay guys, so before we looked at the quick selection, now we're going to look at the polygonal lasso. So the difference between those two is with the quick selection, it kind of automatically selects the image for you, or like what you need from it. But with the polygonal lasso, you kind of draw around it, and you can kind of select certain parts of it. So let's go on to that. So if you go to the third one down, and so I want to give you a little bit more of an accurate description there of the polygon lasso. Basically, with the polygon lasso, I would kind of equate it to like a dot to dot. That's kind of the way that I look at it, and you just kind of draw around the selection that you want. But the main kind of differences there is, say you've got quite a noisy background like this. It's not, you know, it might be a little bit difficult to use the quick selection because it's kind of going to select random parts of it, and it might end up taking you longer than it would if you're using the polygonal lasso. Even with the polygonal lasso tool, you can select exactly what you want, and it is a much more precise way of selecting your image. There are other options to make selections, like you can use the pen tool, and there's the magic wand and stuff, but they're stuff that we can look at in a different time. Let's focus on the polygonal lasso for now. So, and there's also the magnetic lasso. Magnetic lasso kind of just sticks to your image, but it can be a little bit annoying sometimes because sometimes it will stick to parts of it that you don't want. So for now, guys, I want you to go to the third one down, right click, and then we're going to go to the second option, which is polygonal lasso select. So we'll left click on that, and then we have our polygonal lasso at the ready. We're going to go into the middle of the image roughly. And remember, we've got, if you want to zoom in, guys, you've got control and plus. If you want to zoom out, you've got control and minus. So I'm going to zoom in once to get a little bit closer to our tiger. And then I am going to start from his ear. You can start really wherever you want, as long as you know that you can match back up to that point. So yeah, I'm just going to start at his ear. Left click to start it. And then you just go slowly round, and it's just dot to dot. It is literally dot to dot. So left click, left click. Some learners, they try to, you know, skip over stuff, so they'll do left click and they'll do it like that. That is obviously not going to come up with a very precise image. You're going to have a lot of the background in there, so be a little bit careful with stuff like that. If you can see there that that's not the best selection there, what I've done. So if you make a little mistake like that, just literally press delete on your keyboard and it goes one step back. So you've got your delete option there as well, guys. The thing with the polygonal lasso is that it requires a little bit of patience, but in my opinion, I quite like it because I think it, you know, it's not to be like massively over analytical, but I think it's quite like it's like mindful in a way, for lack of a better word. It's like, because when you're doing it, you're like totally focused on it, so it usually chills me out when I'm doing it. But I think
a little bit more control as well, right?
Yeah.
So if it's the magic wand or the quick selection tool, it's sort of it's the computer program just deciding what it's including and what it's not.
Yeah.
Which, like you say, if it's got a lot of noise in the background, is going to make it more difficult because it's not going to be able to tell the difference between, say, the tiger and the leaves in the background. It's just going to think it's all the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas with the polygon lasso, you're physically clicking on where it should be.
Exactly. Good point, man. I tell you what, I'm going to deliberately mess this up, right? Because I want to kind of do a demonstration of what like 90% of people first using this tool do almost every single time, which is totally fine because I did it so many times when I was first using the polygon lasso. Is because you need a lot of patience to use it. You need to kind of click and just make sure you go around and you're going to get it all in. Sometimes I think people like they want to get it kind of done quite quickly, which is understandable, but when that happens, people end up double clicking, and when you double click, that's what happens. So as you can see there, guys, it's kind of made an autocomplete of the stuff that I already did. So that is not good at all because it kind of makes my image all over the place. There are ways that you can, it depends how, right? So if you've done an autocomplete like this, it depends how far through the selection you are, because if you're already quite far through it, there are ways that you can continue the selection even though you've done that. You would just pick up from where you left, and then when you get round to the start point, you press enter and it snaps back. you can do that. But if you've just started the selection, sometimes it's just easy to deselect and start again. So that's what I'm going to do for this, guys. So just to kind of explain what's happened here, when you're doing the polygonal lasso, you left click as you move down, and every time you want to go over a corner, you might left click again. But if you double tap left click, it can auto complete it, and if it auto completes it and you're halfway through, it'll end up looking something like this, if you can see those marching ants on my screen there. And that is obviously not what we want. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back up to select. And so guys, don't worry if this happens to you, because it happens to like a lot of people, and it's a very common kind of thing.
Probably the most common error.
It is the most common error. That's, yeah, 100%, dude. So just go straight up to select and then go down to deselect. And that's all you need to do with that. Also, something that happens when people do that is because when we're used to doing Control and Z to undo, but it doesn't deselect. Control and Z doesn't usually deselect, so people get quite like panicky with that. Just go straight up to select and deselect. Okie dokie. So we're gonna start again there, but that was definitely worth kind of like looking at. And yeah, like I say, guys, you know, just kind of take your time whenever you're doing a polygonal lasso selection. Just nice and easy, and you can just kind of go down it. Don't worry about like little bits of hair. Like if you miss out like a whisker of hair, then that's totally fine. It's not a big deal. Also, we are gonna look at like if the selection's not perfect, which sometimes it isn't, which is totally fine, then we're gonna look at like kind of ways around that as well. I'm gonna show you like some stuff you can do with layer masks in a little bit, but we'll focus on this for now. Like I said, if you go kind of over, don't be too precious about it. If you think, oh my god, I've got like a little bit of the like leaf in there, it's totally fine. Or you think, oh, I've missed a bit of his paw out, it's once again, it's not a problem. Obviously, the more precise the better, but
well, it's gonna come with practice, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Right? You know, nobody's born good at editing images.
Exactly.
Doesn't really work that way. So just practice me.
That's the one, dude. True. Okie dokie. All right. How's everybody finding it so far? Is everybody kind of following along, or like getting on with it? Because I do not have the chat up currently, so I can't really see.
Well, no one's put anything in yet, but if they do, I shall let you know.
Good stuff. Okie dokie. Yeah, we can just kind of gently go around them. Okay. Yeah, so we're getting there. Just nice and patient, slowly with them. All good.
And you'll start to get a feel for this as well once you start picking your own images.
Yeah.
You'll pick something and then think, why on earth have I picked this?
Definitely.
It's something that's quite difficult to cut out.
Yeah.
But you might as well just have a go, like Daniel's been saying. You know, you can undo pretty much every step.
For sure.
And it's not going to come to you straight away. I mean, it might, and if it does, great. You know, some of you guys have used it before anyway, so you'll know exactly what you're doing. But everyone has to start somewhere, so just bear with it, really.
So yeah, guys, that's a good point as well. And just to touch on that, depends on what you're doing, but when you're picking something, like if you pick something that's got like a million different corners, then it's going to be really difficult because you have to go around each individual part. So that can be really tough. If you pick something that's really round, like a football, that's obviously going to be really easy because it's just all the way around. So it kind of depends on what you pick as well. Like obviously the more shape something has, the harder it is. The more round something is, the easier it is. That's generally pretty much how it is. Okie dokie. Yeah, so guys, I want to kind of quickly touch on that here. So you can see the marching ants here because I linked my start point back to my end point. And when you press that, usually in Photoshop a little circle appears. I don't know if you get that on Photopea actually, but if you just link your start point and your end point, it does make this kind of marching ants is what we call it, if you can see. If you don't have that, don't actually worry, because you can just press enter, and if you press enter, it'll do the autocomplete, like as we kind of talked about. So just to quickly recap there, you can double click to finish your autocomplete once you've went all the way around. Okay, so there we have made a pretty nice selection of the tiger. We are going to go to edit, and then we're going to go to edit, and we're going to go down to copy. All right, and now we're going to go back into our background here, spring, and then we're going to go to edit, and we're going to go down to paste. Perfect. And obviously our tiger looks a little bit too big here, so that's okay. We're going to kind of look at some different kind of ways to kind of not just reduce his size, but to kind of make him blend into the background a bit better. So first things first, guys, we're going to go to Alt, Control, and T.
Press all the keys all at once.
I know, I almost pressed the Windows key as well. Alright, so if you hold Shift, and we're just going to kind of, oh my god, make sure
Control, Alt, and T is the one for your transform, yeah.
That's the one, yeah. So guys, if you haven't got that as well, edit, free transform, and that's the same thing. So if we go down, let's also, guys, I want to kind of touch on perspective. Perspective is something you should consider when you're doing like images like this. So if you want to be close to the front, he's obviously going to be bigger, so he's closer to kind of your eye. If you want him to be in the background, he's obviously going to be smaller, and he would be placed towards the back of the image. So yeah, just think about your perspective as well when you're scaling stuff. Alright, so guys, we're going to hold Shift once again, a left click, and we're going to kind of drag him, make him a little bit smaller, get him about here. There you go. Nice, that looks absolutely fantastic. Alright, once again, hold Shift and kind of drag him. I'm going to put him in the background a bit here, but I feel like he should be facing the tree. So how would we do that? We would just right click we'll right click anywhere kind of in that little box, and I would press flip horizontally, and that is going to flip the tiger, and he's going to do a little twirl there. I'll tell you what, guys, actually I'm not going to have him in the background because he looks like he's kind of been chopped in half. I don't know if you can see that, so I'm not actually a massive fan of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him closer to the front in the bottom left. You guys can put your tiger wherever you think would look best, or if you picked a different object, then wherever you think that object will look best. Then I'm going to hold Shift, I'm going to drag it up, I'm going to make it quite a bit bigger, and don't be afraid to rotate it as well. If you want to rotate it a little bit just to kind of make it fit a bit better, you can do that. And I'm going to make them even a little bit bigger than that, even not too much though. Stretch them a bit there. Hold Shift and scale it out a bit. There you go. I'm happy with that now. Okay, and he looks pretty cool. Gonna select my move tool, and there you go. He's looking quite nice. He's just chilling out, enjoying a bit of the sun. But okay, guys, so now we're gonna look at some. I think that my tiger is a little bit too bright for this image here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of add an adjustment layer just on him. So what I would do is I would go to make sure you selected that layer. I'm going to press tiger here. There are a couple ways you can do this, by the way. So I'm going to go to tiger. I'm going to rename the layer tiger, sorry. And there you go. And I'm going to go to edit. And I am going to go to, so we've got tiger, we've got edit here, and I'm going to go to image, and then I'm going to go to adjustments, and I'm going to go to brightness and contrast, which is the first one here. So once again, guys, you go to image, adjustments, brightness, contrast. Okie dokie. And this is going to edit just the tiger because I selected the tiger's layer. And let's put the brightness down slightly, and then the contrast up a little bit. See, when you put the contrast up, it kind of brings out some of the color in the tiger, which is really, really nice. And put a little bit of the brightness and contrast down there. Okie dokie. And he's looking really cool now. Okay, so that tiger is looking nice. Okay, so guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another object into this. Okay, so let's have a look. So the tiger's looking good. We've put an adjustment kind of layer on him. We've put brightness and contrast on him to kind of darken him down a bit. We've positioned him in the bottom left corner. We're going to add another object into this image before we move on to putting a texture in it, and then ultimately putting some text in it. Okay, so the next step is we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Open. Okay, and as you can see here, guys, on the third one along, we've got some butterflies, and that looks perfect because, I mean, we've got some daisies in here, so that'll look quite nice. However, as we were just talking about, certain stuff is quite hard to cut out. If you can see the legs of these butterflies, that is going to be a little bit of a nightmare. But do you know what it is? I don't.
Tricky. It's going to be tricky.
It's going to be tricky. So I don't actually mind that because it's going to give us room to work with a layer mask and kind of erase and stuff. So we can have a little look at that as well. And once again, he is going to be very small in my image, so don't worry about it. If it's completely fine, you know what I mean? So if it's going to be really small in your image, you might even not notice slight errors, maybe, let's say. Okay, guys, so we're going to go back down to a Polygonal lasso. Third one down there. You're going to left click on that one, and we are just going to start to make a selection of our butterfly here. So make sure your third one down, right click, make sure your Polygonal lasso is selected there, and there you go. Alright. And you can just kind of, there you go, perfect.
Again, this one might be a test of the old patience. Just bear with it. take it easy and don't try not to get as stressed as some people might.
Well, that's the thing, you know.
It's supposed to be relaxing, not stressful. It's supposed to be the opposite. But
and the key is to just take your time with it as well.
Yeah.
If you end up double clicking and it kind of, you think, oh, what's happened here? Just go straight up to select, deselect, and crack on again. You know what I mean? And if you make a little mistake, you see I just made a mistake there. You just press delete and it gets a step back for you.
So no punching the keyboards or flipping your mouse over and stuff. We just nice and relaxed.
Yeah, exactly.
Need some like tranquil music to play in the background of this bit. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Pan flutes.
Yeah, pan flutes. Yeah, I know all about the pan flutes. Lo-fi hip hop radio, beats to relax / study to.
Yeah, that's a very popular channel. I think it's live 24/7. That one.
It is. Yeah. I always listen to that one when I'm like studying and stuff like that. So.
Bit of classical music. Can't go wrong with that.
Chopin.
Yeah, a bit of Beethoven.
Beethoven. Debussy.
Yeah.
I'm like butchering all these names, but
like, you know.
But yeah.
Backstreet Boys as well.
Backstreet Boys. Steps.
And Steps.
S Club 7.
The Stranglers.
Yeah.
I'm just reading through,
your favorite band, the Smiths.
Smiths as well, because they're so good. Quote unquote good. I wouldn't go for any. I'm literally just scrolling through Spotify now. Anything that helps you relax, basically. If that's like death metal, then that's fine. If it's not, that's also fine.
Common sounds of death metal.
Yeah, I mean, some people's brains work that way.
True.
Helps you focus sometimes, I think.
Guys, I mean, this. I'm curious as to how this is gonna look because it's not.
You know, it's alright to make mistakes, Daniel.
Yeah, it's not the most precise selection, but like I said, I actually don't mind on this because I'm kind of wanting to make some mistakes with this just so we can look at how to kind of fix that. You know, if there is problem in our selection.
And there's no sort of like one way there's no right or wrong way to select an image. It's all just knowing the different tools, and you have a look at the image and you either do trial and error or you know which one will work the best.
Exactly.
So Daniel obviously earlier covered the ones with a solid color in the background. You know that your quick selection tool is going to work the best there because it's going to be able to work out the difference between the two, the object and the background. But for ones like this, it's just you basically just got to try and see what happens. There's no like test you can take that'll make you understand them all. It's just trial and error.
Sometimes it feels a bit like Operation, if you've ever played that game.
Yeah.
It's like
There's no buzzer though.
Yeah, there's no buzzer.
You don't get like electric shock or anything yet. Anyway, they haven't added that. Maybe in the next update.
Yeah, like I say, guys, I'm being very kind of precise here, but don't like if it looks like if you're following along with me, and you're kind of making some errors, or what I would suggest is don't try and be as precise as I've been. Just kind of make a big circle around it, and because I'm gonna show you how to kind of erase around that kind of stuff in a second. So don't worry about trying to be too overly precise. If you make a few errors there, totally fine. Just take a big chunk out of this butterfly and just drag it all in, because we're gonna fix that in a second. So
plus, we're gonna make the video available anyway. For the streams, it's gonna go out as a YouTube video, which means you can just pause and go back to it. So if you are struggling specifically with one part, I've been taking a rough sort of time code of the stream, so that it'll be in the description. You'll be able to click on, say it's the Polygonal lasso bit. You can click on that time code. It'll take you to that part of the stream where we've been talking about it. And you should just be able to sort of recap.
Perfect. Brilliant. Okie dokie. So I'm pretty much done here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press enter, because I don't know if I can find my start point here, and I don't want to go over it too much. I think that might be it. I'm going to press it here. Yep, that was it. Okay, good. If not, you would just press enter there. And I think that's a semi-decent selection there, considering how difficult that was. But don't worry, because we're going to kind of have a look at kind of how we would counteract that and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go down to copy, and I'm going to go back into Spring, and I am going to go back up to edit, or it would be Control and V if you want to just paste it in there, and then bang, we've got our butterfly here. And I have to tell you guys, that butterfly has got to be the ugliest butterfly that I've ever seen.
Wow. Shade on the butterfly, man.
It looks like a moth. I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to go and I'm going to double click in my layer, sorry, to be a bit more clear there, and I'm just going to rename it just for peace of mind there, and I'm going to rename it as butterfly, just to keep everything nice and tidy there. And okay, we're going to press enter on that, and then I've got my butterfly, and to be honest, it looks alright, doesn't it? It doesn't look that bad, obviously.
Apart from being the ugliest butterfly on planet Earth. True. Yeah, it looks great.
True. So okay guys, I'm going to be a little bit nitpicky here. I'm going to zoom in on this butterfly, and I'm going to kind of move him down a bit just so I can see him better. And as you can see, we've got that horrible kind of, the bits where I couldn't cut it out properly. So what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to make a layer mask. I don't know if my camera's blocking where the layer mask should be.
It's not quite, no, you're all right.
Okay, so if you go to your bottom right here where I've got my cursor, and that I usually refer to it as like the Japan flag. It's just because that's what helps me remember it. So it's whatever helps you remember it. So that's the one.
It's a little bit like a little razor blade as well.
Yeah, you could say it's like a razor blade as well. That's a pretty good one. It's just literally a square or a rectangle, sorry, with a circle in the middle of it. That's pretty much exactly what it is. Just left click that. Make sure you selected your butterfly layer. So left click on that layer, and then select your mask here. Perfect. And now that we've got that selected, we are good to go. Okay, so we've got a layer mask added to our butterfly. Now I'm going to kind of talk you through kind of how we would kind of erase stuff on that. So we're going to go down to our brush. So we're going to press B, and it's going to take us to this one here, the brush tool. So if you go all the way down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down, then you go to your brush, or it is just B on your keypad, and it's going to give you a black and a white should be your two different colors here. Black takes away and white adds. Okay, so as you can see, I've still got 15 for the size of my brush, so I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to put that down to like 10 maybe. Let's see, how's 10 looking? I think 10, I'm going to take it even smaller than that. I'm going to put it to about 7 for now. And then as you can see, I said black takes away. So yeah, so if you just kind of left click and drag in it, you can see it starts to kind of erase that. and we don't need to be too precious, is it? But yeah, this can kind of help you just get rid of it. The reason that we're using the layer mask is because, say I do make a mistake and I think, I don't like what I just did there, I can switch the color to white and I can just draw it back on. So there you go, I'm just drawing back what I just erased there by switching the color to white.
If anyone wants a technical term, that is a non-destructive edit.
It's a non-destructive edit.
Not destroying your image, because you're only hiding it rather than deleting it.
Exactly. If you want an example of a destructive edit, you would press E and then you would go to your eraser, and with your eraser you could do the same thing, but you would be kind of, you know, destroying parts of your image.
It forever. Basically, yeah. It's gone.
So the eraser tool, or E, has the same effect, but it doesn't give you the same like option to kind of paint it back like as it does with a layer mask. So just like,
your mask is essentially hiding it. You're masking it.
Yeah.
Out.
Perfect.
Whereas your eraser is just getting rid of it totally. And if you do an eraser, like use the eraser tool, and then you do too many steps, obviously, like we were saying earlier, you only get up to 30 to go back to, which means then you can't really undo that eraser, and you might have missed a bit or done too much.
Exactly.
You kind of get those pixels back there. On.
That's the one. So
no bueno.
No bueno.
That's Spanish for you as well.
Yeah.
Embedded Spanish instead of embedded English. I don't know why, but there you go.
It's a bit of embedded Spanish, yeah. Okie dokie. So back to black, and we're going to kind of erase it again.
I thought you were going to start singing there.
Best singer in the UK.
Or Amy Winehouse, yeah.
Yeah. My singing is amazing, dude.
Maybe another day though, eh?
Should do karaoke. That's what we should make a stream.
Karaoke stream, yeah. Maybe.
I'm interested. Can you sing it all here from?
Oh God, no! I can barely even talk in more than one note. I've got like a monotone voice now.
I'm the same as you do, to be honest. Okay, guys. So we're just kind of erasing that there. Perfect. Brilliant. Like I said, if you kind of, I just took a chunk out of him there, but don't worry about that because it's going to be really small, so you're not going to actually notice that it's gone. And if it did look bad, like if that looks a little bit bad, so I'm just going to go back to white, and I'm just going to kind of draw it back in. Yeah. And I mean, he is white anyway, so you're not really going to kind of see that too much. And I'm going to kind of just erase some of that there. Like I said, if it's not perfect, guys, don't worry about it. Getting that. Okie dokie. Almost there. Yeah. Like I said, this does take a bit of mastery as well. If you kind of, it's not too precise on your first try, don't worry about it. You can try again. And also pay attention to your brush size as well. Sometimes you might need to make it smaller or bigger depending on how you want it. So there you go. Okay, and I'm pretty much happy with that for now. So I'm going to press Control and minus. And obviously I'm going to resize this because it is grossly big. So we're going to go to Control and... Oh, we're not going to press Control and T, sorry, we're going to press Alt, Control and T. And almost. We're going to press that and then hold Shift, and we're going to kind of drag it left. Just make it really small there, guys. And that is what you want. I'd say even smaller than that, about there. Maybe even a little bit smaller than that. Shift again, and there we go. And I'm actually going to rotate it a little bit so it looks like it's kind of on the thing that I want to put it on, and then move it, but pay attention to your anchor point once again. Try not to move that. So maybe first just press your tick and then move it. If you've got your move tool selected, top left, straight on your move tool there, guys, and then just kind of have that about there. There you go. And kind of, I'm going to put him about there. But I tell you what, guys, I really don't like the look of it. So I'm going to change that. So if we go to right click, and then we're going to go to right click on the layer where butterfly is, go to blending options. We're going to go down to color overlay, and I think this probably won't work, but then I'm going to kind of fix it. So where it says color overlay, I mean, I'm sure that looks probably horrible in red right now. We're going to put in the media savvy color. So remember, guys, it's hashtag ED238A. ED238A. And then you just click out anywhere. It's going to give you that color. I'm just going to move that to the side, and then that looks obviously crazy. So what you do there is you would just kind of put the opacity right down, and then you can change the blend mode overlay as well. But that's still not perfect. Don't worry about that as well. We're going to fix that. So change the blend mode overlay. Make sure you put you can put it, have it any color you want. Put the opacity right down there, and then I'm also going to fix this too. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go to image adjustments. Just let me know if I'm going too fast, by the way, guys. Go to image adjustments, and then you go down to replace color. All right, and then where it says replace color, what we're going to do is we're going to put the lightness down. Maybe we can put it up. We're going to just play around with this to kind of get it where we want it. Okay. And then let's see.
I think I might mute me. Oh no, I'm back.
We can up the fuzziness. Kind of making it a little bit lighter there.
This is just to help it blend into the image a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just blending it, yeah.
So this, you can get this sort of issue whenever you bring an object into a different background, as in it doesn't really look like it's there.
Yeah.
There's two completely different levels of light. So one was, for example, one could have been taken. It could be a daytime shot of the outside.
Yeah.
You brought something in with taken at nighttime. It's not going to look quite right. The lighting isn't going to match. So this is one of the ways you can do it, so it sort of looks a little bit more realistic.
I'm trying to see. I would play about with these ones, guys, just for now.
This is another one, really, isn't it, where there's no sort of like right and wrong.
Yeah.
It's just you have to go by eye and what you think looks best.
I think that looks kind of okay for now. Let's see. You can go to image as well. You can kind of just put any kind of these layers on it just to kind of change the color of it a little bit. You can change the brightness.
Yeah, it's probably best just to have a crack on with it, to be honest, and just see what you can come up with. Yeah. Because if there are adjustment layers as well, you can sort of just take them on and off. So you can just turn them on and off.
Yeah.
So if you put loads in and you think, oh, that's awful, I've ruined it, you can just, go a step backwards. You can take your layers off. That sort of thing. So it's quite easy to do.
Exactly. So bear with me, guys, while I'm just kind of playing around with this. Let's try last one here, and then we're going to crack on with this. Back into adjustments there. Replace color. Let's have a quick look. And just kind of, there you go, that's much better. Perfect. Okay, guys, so my issue there previously was that I was clicked on the layer mask instead of the actual layer, I think. So when I was doing the edit, that's why it wasn't really making much difference. But now you can see that once you clicked on the actual layer, the left layer there, it'll actually start to edit it, and then we can kind of, yeah, I mean that's like nice. Now it's actually, oh, there we go, right? That's what you want. That's what you want. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys.
So yeah, just make sure you've got 2 little thumbnails on your layer. You've got your layer mask, which is the white box, and you've got the layer image, which is the image itself. You need to click on the image itself.
Okay, so I knew that was going to work, but I was thinking like there was a brief moment there where I was like, why is this not working? But it is working now.
I've broken it and everything's gone wrong.
Yeah, and also it's like what's like Photoshop and what's not like Photoshop. But okay, guys, that was like I kind of just went off and did my own thing for a second, but I kind of want to just run through that very, very quickly. Make sure, because obviously if you've got your layer mask in your layer, left click on the layer, which is the butterfly, and so that'll be the left layer, not the mask. You can go down to edit, and you can go to image, and then adjustments, and then you go down to replace color, and then when this window comes up, just have a little play with it, and it's going to kind of alter the color of that butterfly. Obviously it was a little bit desaturated before. We brought in some blues, we put the saturation right up, and we've kind of played around with the hue a little bit. The hue is ultimately what's going to change the color, and it looks nice and blue, and that is absolutely gorgeous now. So okay, but it looks a little bit lonely because there's only one butterfly. So how would we fix that? Well, what we would do is we would go to where the butterfly is here, we would just right click, and then we would press duplicate layer. Okay, and then we are just going to kind of, so that makes a butterfly copy. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to call that butterfly 2. I'm just going to delete the copy, put 2 there. Perfect. And I'm going to make like, let's say 4. Okay, so I'm just going to right click, duplicate layer, and then I'm going to do one more as well. Right click and duplicate layer. So I've got 4 different layers there, and you might think, well, I can't see any of them. Don't worry about it, we're going to get onto that in a sec. So I'm going to call this one here butterfly 3, and then I'm going to call this one here butterfly 4. So there you go, absolutely fantastic. So we've got butterfly 1, 2, 3, and 4. I know you might be thinking you can't see them yet. All you would do is you would left click on the layer that you want, because they're all on top of each other. I'm just going to move this one slightly back, and then I'm going to go down to butterfly 3, move that one back a little bit, and then I'm going to go to butterfly 2, and I'm going to move that one back a little bit as well, and then that looks quite nice now. But I'm going to make it add a bit more realism there. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to press Alt, Control, and T, which is transformers, if you remember. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to flip horizontally so it's facing the other way, and there you go. And that looks quite nice, doesn't it? It's like they're all kind of around the tiger, and they're nice and colorful. Okay, so guys, finishing touches, we need to put a texture, and we also need to put in some text. So for the texture, I'm going to go to File, Open, and I am going to go back into Virtual Image Assets, Multiple Choice. I'm going to go into Textures there, and I'm going to select the one on the top left, and bang, look at that, that's great. So yeah, guys, remember it is Control and A, I think, but we're going to go to Select, and then press Select All, and that should give you that. Looks really nice. And we're going to go to Edit, Copy. Once again, if I ever go too fast for anything, just let me know, and we can kind of go back and do it step by step. And then we're going to go to Edit and Paste, and wow, so it's over the top. It's picked a weird place. I guess that's where I must have been selected on that layer. We're going to drag it underneath everything. So I'm going to drag layer 1. You don't have to do this, you can put it on the top if you want, but I'm going to drag it just above the background. So that looks a bit crazy for now, but it's okay. So, and I'm going to change layer 1, which is, let's call that texture. So I'm going to double click where it says layer 1. I'm going to call that texture, and there you go. And I'm going to put that as overlay. Nice, and there you go, and that looks pretty cool. And we've got our things on the top. We've got the tiger on the top, and I'll put the opacity down to like 48. Looks like there's just beams of sun just kind of coming through there. I'm overall pretty happy with this image so far. And then the final touches is just going to be the text. So I am going to go into text. I'm going to kind of, yeah, make that a little bit wider there. Perfect. And I'm going to write in text, I'm going to write we are media savvy, hashtag we are media savvy. Capital W, capital A, capital M, capital S. Drag that along. And going to put him above the tiger. But I'm going to put the tiger back a bit. Select the tiger, move him slightly back, and I'm going to put...
I'm really impressed by all these butterflies, like.
Yeah, they look decent, don't they? I kind of want it to be behind the tiger, but also it's going to take it out. I'm going to put him on top of the tiger. Okay, so we are media savvy. Alright, and that looks a bit bland. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the text that we wrote, and we are going to click blending options. Alright guys, and here we can have a little play around. So just to recap there, you right click on the text, you click blending options, and then it comes up with this window. Alright, now you can kind of have a little play around. So just tick these as you please and kind of see what effect you like. Once you've ticked it, left click in that box, and then you can kind of edit from there. It looks a bit weird, that one. So if we go down to stroke, that looks pretty good. And you can kind of add that, and that looks a bit horrible. And you can add that in. Obviously you can change the color there as well, so the fill type you can change. I'm sure you can put a gradient in as well. You can put gradients and patterns in. Let's tick off that. I'm gonna go down to satin. I think satin's usually like quite decent, and see it kind of makes like a satin kind of fabric effect there, and that looks pretty cool. You can change the size of that. All of this stuff, it's just kind of experimenting. You can kind of play around with it and see what works for you. So I'm gonna have the satin on, and then I'm also gonna put a bit of a drop shadow. So if we go down to drop shadow, and let's see, size, put the spread. So no, I'm not really feeling it, so I'm going to take the drop shadow off. I'm going to change that to an outer glow, and that does it. So yeah, technique softer, you can make it softer or precise. I'm going to have it as precise there, and then I'm going to put the size up ever so slightly. That's a bit too much, about there. But it doesn't really work with a satin, so I'm going to turn the satin off, and there you go, it looks alright now. So once again, I'm going to turn the size down slightly. Yep, about there. And you can change the blend mode as well, so that's going to give you like a wildly different effect depending on what you pick. Let's go for like soft light. Doesn't really work. Vivid light. Yep, that's okay. Alright, and then you can press OK, and look at that, guys. Voila. So there is our finished image. We've got nice bit of text. We've got a nice blending mode on the text. We've got some nice blending mode, and then we've got some nice butterflies that we put in here. So guys, I'm going to kind of just recap each layer. We are coming towards the end of the session. We've got the background, obviously, layer that we put in. I put the texture as the second layer because I wanted the tiger and the butterflies to be on top. And then we've got the butterflies. We've got our tiger, sorry. So the texture, if I left click on that, we used overlay. Put the opacity down to 48, so it's quite in the background. We've got the tiger. Excuse me, all of a sudden just need to clear my throat. Got the coronavirus, guys. Yeah, so we've got the tiger, and he's just normal. Then we've got the "We Are Media Savvy" text, and literally do not know what's just happened in my voice. They just totally started like randomly started dying like for no reason.
I wouldn't care. You've got through. We're on 1 hour and 53 minutes.
Dude, like literally.
The wheels are coming off now.
Like totally fine, and it's got somebody in my throat, and it was just like started killing me. But
because he's so emotional about the image,
I'm so overwhelmed by what we've achieved today.
How good them butterflies look.
How those butterflies,
like,
mate.
wow.
Oh my god.
Choking up.
I can't.
Can I just
Can't contain. So yeah, the tiger, guys. And if you remember, we went to edit, and sorry, we didn't. We went to image adjustments, and we kind of put an adjustment layer on the tiger. There is, if you put the adjustment directly on the layer, it'll just affect that layer, but you can also make like adjustment layers in your bottom right here. And in Photoshop, usually that'll open up its own kind of, I'm sure it's the same in this.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and it'll open up its own layer. Then you can attach that layer afterwards to something. But say, for example, if you want to put an adjustment layer on and you want it to affect the whole, I'm going to do a test, like a little example of what I'm talking about. So if I go to a new adjustment layer here, I'll press brightness and contrast. You see that it opens up its own layer. The way that I was doing it directly on the layer, which is fine for this run. But if you want to kind of do something that is just going to be specifically on this, then you can kind of, you can just add your adjustment layer, but bear in mind that's going to affect every layer that's underneath it. So if I put this brightness contrast layer on the very top, then it is going to affect all of these layers. So if I edit that, look, you see it changes everything. If I put it wherever I put this layer, that's what it's going to affect. Okay,
you can clip it to the ones underneath, directly underneath as well.
So on Photoshop that would be Alt, and then you would go into the middle here.
On this, it's just right. You right click on your adjustment layer, and there's a clip and mask button.
Yeah, there you go.
About halfway down.
And that's that, and that clips it to the tiger. So that is only going to edit the tiger now.
And you know which one it's clipped to because it'll have a little arrow.
Yes.
Pointing down. So whatever was underneath it, underneath that arrow, is what's being affected by that layer.
So guys, so I think that the way that we did it today is totally fine. But generally, I think that actually using an adjustment layer may sometimes be easier for you because you know exactly where the layer is and you can edit it and take it off much more efficiently than if you're actually putting an adjustment on the actual layer itself. So just bear that in mind. And that is the adjustment layers in the bottom right, and it is the one that is like it's a circle which is half white and half black. So just remember that there, guys.
Again, though, it's another one of those things where there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just it's different and it's slightly different thing. So it's the same end result.
Yeah.
Just adding it directly to a layer gives you a little bit less control over it.
True. So yeah, if you add it directly to a layer, it's going to give you less control because it might be harder to edit once you've put it on. You can lose track of what you've put edits to and what you haven't put edits to. So I did it today, just kind of for quickness as we were going through it. But generally speaking, it would be better to kind of put an adjustment layer in. You've got your 50-50 there. You can pick any of the adjustment layers. For the butterflies, I used replace color. For the tiger, I just put a brightness and contrast layer on. I'm going to quickly run through that one more time, guys. So there you go. I've put that on there, a brightness contrast layer. That's going to affect everything underneath it. If I put it on the top, it's going to affect everything on the top, so it'll affect absolutely everything. And then if I want to clip it to one butterfly, I would put it above that layer, and then I would right click it, and then I would left click clip and mask. It's now clipped to butterfly 4. And then if I put that up and down, you can see that it's editing butterfly 4. So there you go, guys. And I'm just going to delete that for now because I'm quite happy with how it is with stuff. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. Make sure that you hashtag We Are Media Savvy. Please send me your work. Make sure that you've you hashtag We Are Media Savvy, and then you can email it to me, and then we will post that and share it. Also,
we're going to try our very best to sort of share everything that's created in the sessions online.
Absolutely.
Because you guys, the work that you create is better than the stuff that we're going to do. So we want to see that. We want to see what you're getting up to. Even if it's slightly outside of the session, you've watched the video back or whatever in your own time. Still send it across. We'll be doing a lot of online showcasing and stuff, so feel free at any time.
Exactly.
If you send it at like 3 a.m, probably won't pick it up till the morning, but we'll get it at some point.
Also, make sure that if you did do the session today, make sure that you...
yes. That's the other one. Well done, Daniel.
Make sure that you do the survey. So Haytham's going to post the survey, which is in the description. He's going to post a link to that in the box. please, 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 guys, can't stress enough, make sure that you do the survey. That is our way of being able to kind of say that you've done the session today, you've kind of seen what's going on, and it kind of enables us to be able to put on more of these sessions while we're having this quarantine. So, you know, we love putting on these sessions, and we want to do as many as we can for everybody. We can all learn together, but we need to get these surveys done. So it takes literally 1 minute. You know, I did one just before, and it honestly takes like 1 minute. It's like 3 or 4 questions, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the link. It's in there now. Shouldn't take you guys too long. A lot of them are just yes, no.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things. So the course title and the course date, Daniel, the course title is just Intro to Photopea, right?
Yes, the course title is Exploring Photopea.
Sorry, my bad. So I will put that in the chat also. So Exploring Photopea.
Yeah, the course title is Exploring Photopea. So I think
the date is today, which is the 30th of the 3rd.
Yeah, the date is the 30th of the 3rd. I think that's about it for today, for this session. I think for the next session, we're going to look primarily at photo restoration. So, as you can see here, guys, we're going to be touching on this next time, but you've got a clone stamp tool, much like in Photoshop. We're going to be working with that, and we're going to be seeing how that is in Photopea, and we're going to be restoring some old photos. So that's what the focus of the next lesson is. We may also do a little bit of airbrushing, so we're going to do the spot healing brush. We're gonna not like full on airbrush but we're gonna look at
make ourselves look real nice and real pretty.
Yeah, we're gonna look at the healing brush tool and kind of how you can get rid of blemishes on people as well. So I think they're going to be the 2 focuses of the next session. So I hope you enjoyed the session today, guys. If you have any questions, just please fire away and let me know. Is there anything that you'd like to add here from Bodo?
We'll leave the stream sort of lingering open for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because there might be some people watching it who've like clicked back into something, sort of rewound it a little bit. So if they've got any particular issues or questions, we'll have it live with just some sort of holding music on. And then if anyone's got any issues, just, you know, give us a shout there. If not, just comment on the video when it goes live if you're struggling with a particular part of it. And we'll get back to you at some point.
Just going to replace this image with... We do have an image for stream
ended, maybe?
we have something like that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
I'm going to put that up now.
It's stream offline, I believe it's called.
Not sure I have it.
I can send you it, if not.
Yeah, you've just sent that over. I'll tell you what, I'll put...
I can put it in the Zoom.
I've got something I can use as like a that one. Will do for now, right?
I can't see it yet. Hang on.
It'll come up.
I'm not live. Hang on, wait there. I'll find the right one.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I don't want anyone to tune in and think, oh, it's starting again. I'm not doing another 2 hours. It's too much. We need to break it up. 2 seconds.
No worries, man.
It's very professional. What a professional stream. What a great audience.
I can actually look at the chat now.
Yes, I think we've got a couple of people have filled the survey, which is great. So thank you.
Thank you, by the way, Gary, for doing that.
Yeah, I was just saying to Gary before as well. I've sort of retweeted his the photo we put on there.
Brilliant.
That's great. So hopefully we'll get a few more.
Perfect.
I think we put them out on a post last time as well on Facebook. I sent you that image on Zoom, Daniel.
Sorry, mate. I was reading the chat. I've totally been in a world of my own for the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
What did you say?
If you check Zoom quickly, I've sent you the end screen.
Yes, yeah. Sorry about that.
Right.
Got it.
I've got about a million tabs open on this computer. I'm surprised it hasn't just set on fire. Cool. So yeah, I think we're gonna sort of head off, but we are still here monitoring everything. Yeah, so Lisa's quite rightly pointed out as well, if you've already done the survey on a different course, this is a separate survey that we've set up today. So if you could please fill it in with today's information on it. it's vital for us, really. We get the feedback on each course and
definitely
and what's not and stuff. So we can anything else that we haven't sort of covered and all.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. All right, brilliant. So, as Haytham said, we'll leave the stream on for about another 5 minutes, and then we're kind of just gonna we'll take it off after that. Just we'll give people some time to do the survey, and if anyone wants to send anything in as well, or like as Haytham just said, if anyone wants to kind of recap on some of the stuff that we've went through, we'll be kind of just chilling for the next hanging out for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll take the stream off, and we'll put the VOD up so anybody can watch it and kind of recap on anything at there.
We should be posting a link to it in some place. I don't know if it's going to be via email yet, possibly. Again, I think you guys are all pretty much on our following our Facebook as well. If you're looking to do any more stuff or you want links to the previous streams and stuff, that's a good place to check out. I'm losing my words now. I'm just saying stuff and it's not even working. I don't know. Facebook, YouTube, words, places.
No, it's
thank you.
We're actually getting a lot of traction on YouTube. I just noticed that yesterday.
Yeah, good, not good. So keep an eye out on Facebook. We'll be doing a bunch of varied stuff as well. And like I say, we're going to try and move a little bit into mobile because obviously we're aware not a lot of people have traditional desktop or laptop computer.
Yeah.
These days. We'll try and branch out into something a little bit more mobile, hopefully.
So what streams are coming up this week then, other than this one here from?
Now that, Daniel, my friend, is a very, very good question. I will tell you the answer in a moment when I load Twitter up and find out.
Good stuff.
So we've got oh dear, not that. Clicked on the wrong thing. Yeah. Virtual session aimed at people with learning disabilities and autism, suitable for everyone, on setting up WhatsApp groups.
There you go.
Which is Thursday the 2nd. So that's all about using that one. Will be incorporate a little bit of the mobile stuff, but it'll be more a presentation, that one. And that's on Thursday at 10 till 11.
Brilliant.
And that's all about how to stay interacting with people online. And it's primarily going to be looking at WhatsApp, but we'll probably mention a few of the other different services as well. And we've also got this one's on again next Monday, right?
Yes, every Monday so actually that's a good point. So it's on next Monday, and that is going to be photo restoration. We're going to look once again at kind of a little bit of airbrushing, removing some blemishes, and then we're going to look at restoring old photos using the clone stamp, and what we can do with that. And then the Monday after, I believe it is Easter, so we won't be on that Monday. With it being the Easter Monday, at least I don't think, I haven't got confirmed that, but I can't imagine it would be on next Monday because it's obviously bank holiday. But the Monday after
we'll
that,
confirm. We'll make sure we know.
Okay, we'll confirm that. But the Monday after it'll be back on. So we'll
like I say, Facebook, and if you've got any sort of queries about when they're on, just drop us a message on anything. If it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, email. If you've got anyone's particular email, just give us a shout, and someone will get an answer to you.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got all of our emails as well. It's just our first name and then at mediasavvycic.co.uk. So Daniel at mediasavvycic.co.uk, Haytham at mediasavvycic.co.uk, and so on.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Sort of flown over today, so hopefully they can all go at this sort of pace. I think we've got through quite a bit of content as well, so
definitely.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back.
And also, likewise, obviously, we're going to be doing new content next week, guys. But if there is anything you'd want to recap at any point, just let me know, and we'll give it a go. Providing it's not going to, be it's not going to take up too much time on the stream. We should be able to recap most stuff. Anything that we don't recap, you can always look back at the VODs and see anything that we've done. And usually we're time coding it. If you look at some of the previous VODs, it's all time coded. So whatever you missed out on, it will be there time coded. So make sure you check the description. And I think that's all then.
Yeah, subscribe, ding the bell, all that sort of stuff, because you probably get a notification when we go live as well.
That's the one.
we've gone full YouTuber mode where we're like begging for likes and stuff now. So
smash that like button, guys! Come on, smash that like.
You need the energy thing.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Welcome back to Media Savvy today.
Starts like so.
I don't know why I'm American now. But,
yeah, but that's what a lot of them are. So. Okay, all good. Right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. See you later.